Hello class again, and welcome to this particular video. And in here we're going to continue from chapter 2, where we talked about the net income or net pay, or you can say take home pay, and the relationship with that of purchasing power. And speaking of purchasing power, that comes into play when you have a lot of money made as gross income, and that is influenced by not only the deductions that are taken away, but mainly and most importantly the net income. So the more net income you have, the more you're able to do whatever you want to do with the money, either taking responsibilities or being able to invest in some other things now or in the future. Now, speaking of purchasing decisions, making good purchasing decisions all comes down to this: how are you able to take advantage of any single deal that you come across, not only at the grocery store, but when you get a car, or you're trying as much as possible to buy a house. And all these deals should be looked thoroughly into, and in here we're going to look at the mathematics behind this. But before that, let's think of some key things to take note of. First is HST. What is HST? HST, you see those a lot in your receipt anytime you go out to get something from a grocery store or anything you want to get, either in Canada or outside of Canada. Mainly in Canada or Ontario, we are usually charged HST on any single item, either being clothes or groceries or cars or even house. And this is actually 13% added to your regular price of that specific item. So that means that if I buy a specific object whose price I would say is $1 as regular price, which means that if you look at the price tag on that particular item, it is $1. This means that I'm going to add 13 cents, because 13% of $1 is 13 cents. I'm going to add that to the regular price, which means that I am going to pay $1.13 for that $1 regular priced material. So that means that once the HST is added to your regular price, your after tax price or cost will be that particular money right here. This is what you're going to pay out of your pocket. So what is the formula for finding the after tax cost? The after tax cost is equal to the product or multiplication of the regular price, that is the price you see on that particular object's tag, multiply that by 1.13. 1.13 is taking into account the HST in Ontario for that particular product. If it is in different province, like for example, let's say New Brunswick, it might be 15%. It will be the regular price times 1.15. But because we're in Ontario, you're going to multiply your regular price by 1.13 always, and you're going to get a price for that particular regular object after tax cost. Now, once you're able to understand how tax is included into any purchase, the next thing we're going to look at in this particular video is incentives. And incentives is the willingness for a specific retailer or a seller to make you, the customer, to purchase an item that seems more appealing at that particular point. Like for example, you see various tags like this: 70% off or 50% off of sale, like what we see right here. Or in here you see at Walmart, everyday low price. Or you see here various forms of price tags on cars or housing. So all those are influenced in terms of the season. So if you are off season, it means that things or items tend to be cheaper. Like for example, buying summer clothes in the winter season. It means that the summer clothes, when it's sold in winter, is actually cheaper at that particular product process. That means here that there are different ways the customer is actually influenced by the changes in the price done by the seller. And one method is known as discount, like for example 70% off or 50% off, or you have a form where you have to buy two and get one free, or some cases where there is no HST added to that specific material or regular price, or you have buy one pay later. That's kind of interesting. Or you have another one where it is buy one get the next item at 1.5 price, or finally you have one where you have to for two for one, which is another interesting way on dealing with incentives when involving customers to buy something that seems really appealing to them. So all these are different strategies that you should keep in mind when buying various items, either at a grocery store or in various retail stores. And next here we're going to look at is installment plans. This is how various sellers, they actually influence the buyer's willingness to get something that is really expensive to get. Like for example, buying a car. Cars are really expensive. Like you can get a new car within, I would say, 15,000 to anything upwards. And some people, they don't have money, or they don't have the cash at that particular point to get the car or to buy a house. Buying a house is really expensive. Like if you have to get a house in Ottawa, it's pretty much around $200,000 plus dollars, and it's really huge money to actually get. So what the retailers, they do is that they do what is called instrumental plans. Like for example, they are like, oh, for example, if it's a car and the car is worth, let's say the car is worth $10,000 cash. Some people, they will pay the $10,000 cash. Some others, they develop, or they strike a deal with the retailer, saying that, oh, or the retailer will introduce a down payment strategy where on one point at that particular moment, maybe you drop or pay 5,000, and then on future monthly payments you actually pay, like let's say $100 plus HST every single time for the next, let's say 34 months or 36 months, in order for you to get to $10,000. So at the end of all these installments being made, it means that you end up paying more because of the HST that is included into each month installment or plan that you actually put down. So that is one thing to look at in here, in terms of, do you pay in cash, which means that yes, you don't have to pay all the HST for the monthly pay as time goes on, or you want to pay down payment, which is you pay a huge chunk first, and then the remaining pieces is broken down into how many monthly plan you want to cover for the, for you to get the main regular price for that particular car or for a house as well. So it's pretty much interesting to see that play out. And finally, we have money. And money we're going to look at is how to manipulate the currency note or bill kind of notes. For example, we have pennies, we have nickel, we have dime, we have quarter, we have 50 cents, we have loonie, toonie, and we have all the notes, which are the 5 notes, the $10 note or bill, $20 bill, $50 bill, $100 bill. The pennies, we don't use that anymore. I think that was actually eliminated already. So what we are left with is the remaining ones that you see in here. And how to manipulate currency is what you're going to be exposed to. And then in here we're going to look at unit price, which means that if I have a package right here which contains many pieces, how much is for one piece when you know the whole package price and the quantity that is contained in this particular package. So if I know how many pieces are in here and you know how much is for this whole package, then you can determine how much is this one piece in this particular package right there, which is called the unit price. And then finally we have exchange rate. Mainly we'll be focusing on Canadian dollar going into the US dollar and something like that. So in here, let's dive into various examples which involves the following. First, we see a question which says the HST paid on most purchases in Ontario is how much percent? Don't forget that magic number, 13%. So let's just break this down. 13%, just for extra knowledge, comes from 5% federal. So federal government collects 5%, and while the 8% is actually coming from the province of Ontario. So Ontario collects 8% of that particular item that you're buying, and then the federal government collects 5%, and all this money they go into improving the state of the country and the economy in there, either through social medias or something like that. So in here, number 2 is looking at using the table of your choice to estimate. We're going to eliminate that. We'll just mainly use a calculator for this particular question. So we're going to determine the after-tax cost of each item in the table. So in here, rounding the cost, we're not going to include that in this particular lesson here. What we're going to focus on mainly is just going from the cost to after tax. Don't forget here that in here, if the cost is a regular price for the shoe, in this case is $38.49. If this is a regular price, definitely it is. The regular price is what you see on the tag on that particular shoe, which is that price. You're going to multiply the regular price by the tax increased by. So the tax increase is 1.13 because it is Ontario. So in here, once you multiply the regular price by 1.13, we're going to get our answer here to be 38.49 times 1.13, which gives us 43.49 or $43.49. So for jeans, if this is the regular price, to find the after-tax cost, you multiply this particular regular price by the 1.13, and you're going to get $56.49. So that is how to determine how much you're going to pay if the regular price for a particular material is given. So this is not including discount. Now when we include discount, which is where the different houses seller is actually introducing appealing prices for a customer to buy a specific item, then we're going to dive into more compounded questions. Like for example here for number 3, it says give 2 common incentives used by regular retailers. One of course is discount, which I'm going to spell properly. So in here, first is discount, and the other one I would say is, let's make this one to be no HST. No HST. That could be one, or you could say that you buy one, pay later. So I'll make this as buy one, pay later. So all these here are strategies that retailers use to employ or to entice various customers to buy a specific item. So let's look at the mathematics involved in incentives, mainly dealing with discounts. So before this here, we're going to eliminate the random price. We don't really care about that. Yeah, we'll just eliminate that in here. So regular price, which we're going to represent as RP, is in this case, looking at this particular jersey, we actually see the tag, and the tag tells us that yes, it's actually $117.88. So if that is regular price, you're not going to pay this price, you're going to pay the price that is the discount percent of that money plus what you have here and the HST included into this particular jersey right here. So in here we are given the discount percent, which is what it states over here, which is 25% off, which means that if it is 25% off, we can convert this to decimal, which is 0.25. So if it's 0.25, it means that to find the estimated discount, which is in dollars, don't forget that it means that we're multiplying 0.25 by the regular price, which is 117.88. So let me just write the formula here: regular price times the discount. So I'll make this D, represented as D, and this here will give us the discount price. This is equal to the discount price. So if we multiply 0.25 by the regular price, you will get $29.47. And once you get this number here, you're going to subtract from the regular price, which is the RP, in order for we to find the sale price, which is SP. So SP, which is the sale price, is equal to the regular price minus the discount price, which in this case is regular price is $117.88 minus the discount price, which is this number right here, $29.47. That gives us our sale price to be 88.41, which is what you are going to pay out of your pocket right here. So this sale price is also known as the price before tax, so before you include the HST. Now if you want to include the HST, you multiply this number by what? By the HST, 1.13, and this here will give you the after tax price for this particular cloth. And in here, once you punch it into your calculator, in here I'm going to pay in here it says 99.90 or $99.99. So this one here is, I'm just going to highlight this properly here. This here is after tax cost, ATC. So this is what you pay once HST is added to that particular sales price. For number 5, it says here that if an employee of this store, which is in question 4, actually receives additional 20% of the sale price, calculate your cost. So in here we know the sale price, which we're going to use this as the sale price before tax, because in here the question says calculate your cost before HST is added. So if before HST the sale price is $88.41, it means here that we'll have to apply 20%, because it says that the employee will be added, there'll be an additional 20% of the sale price, which means that first we have to determine what DP is, which is the discount price. So the discount price is equal to the selling price times the percentage that it is taken off, so 0.20, because 20% to decimal is 0.20, and this will give us our discount price in dollars to be 88.41, which is what we have right here, times 0.20, and what that gives us as discount price is equal to $17.68. Now this discount price, you're going to apply that to your sales price in order for you to find the new cost. So the new cost that is applicable to only the employee is equal to the selling price minus the discount price. So in here, this is what the employee is going to pay. The employee is going to pay $88.41 minus the discount price, which is $17.68, and that will give us $70.73. So this is how much money that the employee is going to pay for that particular jersey if the employee is working for that particular store. So while a regular person going to the store is going to pay $88.41 or $88.41 before tax, the employee in the store will pay $70.73. So that is it for number 5. And in here we have number 6 here is involving currency manipulation and collecting change. So if you're either working for a store or you're a customer, you should know that, hey, you don't want to be cheated by either one or the other. So it means I want to do your math in your brain quickly before you get your change. And once you leave, it's difficult to go back if you get the wrong change or you give out the wrong change. So let's look at this question here. So in here it says that you work in a bookstore, a customer buys a book, and the after tax cost is $12.35. So the customer gives you $20.10. So the question asks you to find the change due to the customer. So it means that what will the customer collect after the customer gives out $20.10 to the cashier, and the cashier checks that the cost after tax is $12.35. So what you have to do is just easy math subtraction. What you do is like you take away $12.35 from the $20.10 that was given by the customer, and what the customer is going to receive is $7.75. So the next question here says that using the currency manipulation, you have to give the correct change to the customer, and you want to draw the bill or coin combination below. So that different combination, you don't want to give the person $10 note. No, that is a ripoff. So you want to go appropriately by first giving a $5 bill, and then you give the person a toonie, which is the coin, and then you give the person a 50% coin, and finally you give the person a 25 cents or a quarter coin. So you're giving the person 4 different bill or coin combination: a $5 bill, which is 5 plus 2, $7, and these are the cents, which is 50 plus 25 gives us 75 cents. So $7 plus 75 cents gives us $7.75, which is the proper value that we want to give our customer. So you're giving the customer 5 to 50, 25. So these are what you need to take note of here. And then looking at unit price, don't forget here that unit price tells me how much is for one piece of that particular combined box of juice. So in here it says that a juice box here, let's say this is a juice box, it says that for 6 pieces of juice you pay 99 cents, which means that for one box, or I'll say for one box, yes, how much will it be? It means that we're going to, let's write the formula properly here. The formula I'm going to say is for a unit price. What we want to do is to divide our total price in dollars by the number of quantity. So I'm going to change the color here. Number of quantity. So it means here that in here, if this here is the number of quantity, this over here 99 cents is actually the total price. So if I divide 99, let's just erase this, this is confusing. If I divide 99 by 6, I will get the unit price for that particular juice box, which in this case is 16 cents. And or you can just write it as, I'll just write or 16 cents. There we go. And the same thing is applicable here. We have the number, which is 12, or quantity, and we have the number in dollars, which is the total price. So in here you're going to divide $1.79, divide that by 12, and this will give us almost approximately the same value, which is 15 cents, or you can write it this way, 15 cents. And if you do the same thing here, we have the number of quantity for the last question to be 24, and it says that the price is $3.99, which means here that your total price, which is $3.99, you're going to divide that by the quantity, which in this case is 24, and what we get is $16 as well. So it will, or well, not 16, I'll say it's 17 approximately. So this is not 16, this is 17 cents, sorry. So 17 cents is the price if I increase the number of juice box and I increase the price that follows. So you notice here that for 6 here we have 16, which is great, but then in here when we go to 12, which is half, double the quantity, we have a dip by 1 cent, and then when I double again, which is 24, I have an increase 2 cents. So you notice here that there is a fluctuation a little bit in the unit price when I'm increasing or I'm doubling the quantity of the juice box. So that is it for the unit price. Don't forget this formula. You will need to apply that to any strategy involving unit price, which is the total price, sorry, the unit prices, which is the total price divided by the number of quantity of that particular material. So next one here is the currency exchange, and in here we're asked to convert from US dollars to the Canadian dollars, and in here we're asked to find the Canadian dollar price for a racket if a person that actually goes on a trip to Detroit summer and lives in Windsor, which is in Canada. So if the person lives in Canada but travels to Detroit to get a squash racket for this amount in US dollars, and just get this away. So the amount of this particular racket in US dollars is $69.99 USD, and we're asked to find the price in Canadian dollar. We don't know what that is. We know that if you go every single day on Google, you'll always find that the number of the equivalent of one Canadian dollar or from one US dollar to Canadian dollar changes. But in general, over the past couple of years, the Canadian dollar hasn't been as much greater. It's not as great as the US dollar. So the value of the US dollar is greater than the value of the Canadian dollar. And if you look as of this particular date, April 24 of 2020, the equivalent of one US dollar is equal to 1.41 Canadian dollar, which means here that to find the Canadian dollar of any specific material or item, it means that we have to multiply the price of the item in US dollar by the equivalent EQ of the Canadian dollar, which means here that this here is the equivalent number that you're going to put in here, and the US dollar for that item price is actually this number, which is what you put in here as asked in the question. So in here, to find the Canadian dollar of the racket, I'm going to make this symbol here as a racket. So it doesn't look like a racket, but yeah, we'll go with that. This is equal to $69.99 US times 1.41 Canadian dollar, and this is going to give us our number for the Canadian dollar to be $98.68 Canadian. So the person who's going to pay will have to pay more to get the squash racket if the person converts the money to Canadian dollars going from the US dollar. So that is it for currency exchange. And if I'm asking you to do exactly the same, if you're traveling anywhere outside of Canada, you will have to convert the money to any currency, which means that if it is US mainly, or in Europe they use euros or pounds, you have to put in more money of Canada dollars in order for you to get a smaller money in those currency. But if you're going anywhere outside of those specific regions, usually the Canadian money has much more value than the other countries' currency. So good to keep that in mind. And finally here is involving installment plans and why it's kind of really cool to see that, versus also if it's cool to pay in cash. So in here we have a furniture warehouse sale that sells a dining room and a dining room set for a cost price of $979 plus HST. So if they say plus HST, it means that HST is included, which means the tax is already included into the regular price, and this is actually the selling price. This is what you're going to pay in cash upfront. So you're going to pay this in cash upfront, and they're like, yes, if you have the money, boom, pay this money and you're good. However, if you want to go for the installmental plan, it means that you have to pay this amount 36 times. So you're going to pay this with HST included 36 times in order for you to satisfy this whole amount that you would have paid in cash. So instead of you paying this in cash, you will have to pay this amount 36 times in order for you to satisfy that box. So the question here says that calculate the after-tax cash price. So in here, since the HST we assume is going to be included into this money here, which is in this case 979, which is the regular price. In here, to calculate the after-tax cash price, since we assume that this furniture warehouse is actually in Ontario, we'll have to multiply this number, which is a regular price, by what again? Don't forget the magic number, 1.13. Always do that. So you multiply this number by 1.13, and this here will give us the after-tax cash price. So ATC is after-tax cash price, and this here will be equal to how much? $1,106.27. So this person here is going to pay this money cash, like upfront at that particular instant, instead of paying in instrumental phases. However, if a question asks you that if the person chooses the other option, which is to pay the instrumental plan, and that means here that you have to pay this amount, $33.33, you're going to pay this amount 36 times. So you're going to multiply this by 36, and this here will be equal to 1,199.88. So $1,199.88, which you notice here is really big, is greater than this cash price that you would have paid upfront if you want to avoid this instrumental plan. So which means here that the instrumental plan actually tells me that first I'll have to pay HST 36 times, and I'll have to pay the regular price 36 times as well, which means that the great advantage of paying in cash is that I'll have to avoid this. That means here that I'll have to avoid monthly HST payments due to the instrumental plan or installment plan. However, if you choose the installment plan, the one advantage that I can think of is that in one part you can consider that if you don't have the cash price now and it's actually in desperate need, relating to that particular dining room set, if you need the dining room set right now but you don't have the full cash price, but you have like a little chunk that you can pay instrumentally, then you can actually still use the dining room set or afford it while paying in small amounts. Yeah, so that is the one advantage I can think of concerning choosing the installment plan rather than using or paying cash, or that is the advantage I can think of while paying in cash rather than going for the installment plan. So that is about it for this particular video. You've acquired great skills involving strategies on how to differentiate or choose ways by which you can pay for a specific material that is really expensive, but you don't have the complete money to pay. So you know how to approach that, which is installment plans and how that works. Or in here you're able to satisfy how to convert currency going from Canadian dollars to US dollars, or going from US dollars specifically to Canadian dollars. And in here you know how unit price works in terms of a specific one part of the whole particular package, and how to determine the price of just one candy. For example, when you have 50 candies that cost like $50, so how much is one candy? That is what unit price is about. And then in here we looked at currency manipulation, which means that how are you going to pay the change to a specific customer using the right currency, which is the bills or coin combination. And in here we looked at how incentives and discount works mathematically. One you have to keep in mind is that the regular price, you have to multiply that by the discount decimal percentage, and once you get your answer you subtract the discount price from regular price in order for you to get the selling price. And if you want to pay, or when you're asked to pay the HST, which means that the after tax can be determined when you multiply your answer by that particular factor. And finally here we looked at harmonized sales tax and how that works in Ontario specifically. So thanks for following me through this, truly appreciate it. Please hit a comment down below, or please send me an email concerning any questions that you might have. By that way I can talk to you soon. And don't forget to do the assignment 3 involving making sound purchasing choices. All the same, stay smart and believe in yourselves.